Chapter 91 Gurudev's Short Discourses and Discussions. On 5th May, Pujya Shri left Ujjain for Bombay, via Jamnagar. Next day, Gidubhai Kotak came along with Yog Shaktima for darshan. Pujya Shri gave a beautiful discourse on yoga and added at the end, "This contemporary race after yoga is not correct. For getting the right answers, one must ask questions with humility. Nowadays, the process is reversed. Formerly, the thirsty seekers for knowledge used to go to the well, the source of knowledge, and nowadays, the wells, who are the knowledgeable, go seeking for the thirsty, those who need to know. The first essential for our success in yoga sadhana is overpowering inquisitiveness for learning. If we love something with true intensity, we would reach a stage when we cannot live without it. That is why we say, learn to love from the fish, which when separated from water, gives up its life. Till then, till there is such an intensity in our sadhana, there is no hope of God realization. Therefore, do not try to impart merely by preaching qualities to others which you do not yourself possess. Such an endeavor is bound to fail." Later, Yog Shaktima remarked, "Today I have obtained from Bapu's pravachan what I had been unable to achieve so far." The same evening he spoke to devotees. As you would not trust your beloved wife to the custody of another person, similarly, God would not give custody of His wife Lakshmi to an unfit person. Treat Lakshmi ji as your Mata. Use it judiciously to do charitable works and not for leading a life of idle leisure. Primarily, ours is an agricultural country, which needs generous donors, dedicated social workers, and far-sighted administrators. If all of us work in harmony, we can never come to any harm. Though I won't be here to see it, you shall see that if all the three sections work together, then the entire nation will undergo transformation in the next 15 years. That year's Guru Purnima was celebrated in Bhopal. An extract of his speech delivered over there is given below. Yesterday, Debar Bhai had come with an invitation from Vinobaji that I should deliver spiritual talks to people and also give them advice. What advice can I give? I am not academically qualified, and I know only one maxim. First pate, hunger, then thate, deliverance. Half of our people are semi-starved, and you cannot expect them to listen to spiritualism or talks of immortality of the soul. Till one's hunger is pacified, he cannot think about non-duality and such other topics. However, this much is certain, that there must be a limit to our wishes and desires. Unlimited wishes and uncontrolled desires can enslave us. One must have unity in his thoughts, speech and actions, and for that, there should be consistency in his internal and external self. We can broadly divide human beings in three categories. The sattvic or divine, who when their past meritorious deeds were exhausted, got born on earth from among the devtas. The second category are those who are born from human to human form, and in them, though there is sattva, divinity, in small portions, they also have the tamas, or dark attributes. The third category is of people who have just been promoted from animal form to human form, and they constitute major section of our society. And with them the maxim, first pate and then thate, alone can work. If you wish to detach from this type of mere body consciousness, come to me. Once you achieve this state of detachment, you will realize that the inner powers that are lying dormant within you. God realization can be experienced only if there is an indomitable and irrepressible desire for the same. But once such an urge arises in you, then all your sins will dissolve and you will surely attain inner peace and tranquility during your sadhana. After Orissa and Bihar, his health went on deteriorating, and at the insistence of devotees, he agreed to rest for a while. He reached Devas from Bhopal via Jaipur, Pushkar and Ujjain. Jai Bhagwan. Chapter 92. South Gujarat Flood Relief. On 6th August 1968, 12 rivers of South Gujarat were in spate, and breaking their banks, they caused terrible devastation and destruction with their unprecedented floods in surrounding towns and villages. The angry waters of River Purna and Navsari broke the bridge with its irresistible force, devastated farmhouses and destroyed homes. The extent of damage cannot be expressed by mere words or in terms of rupees. On hearing this terrible news, Pujya Shri left his solitary stay at Mafatlal House in Devas and reached to the relief of the flood-affected people. He met several devotees, and after contacting Arvind Bhai and Devkaran Bhai on phone, he started for Navsari. At the insistence of Arvind Bhai, he agreed to stay in Mafatlal House over there. Volunteers visited village after village and contacted the flood-affected people. Then, prompt relief was delivered to Surat, Navsari and Dang district. Due to lack of any political colouring behind this relief work and the fact that it was carried out under the saintly personality of Gurudev, relief could be made available to as many as 30,000 families affected by the floods. During this time, Shriman Narayan, Governor of Gujarat, visited with his wife along with several news reporters to see the relief works and left fully satisfied. During his talks with the Sandesh reporter, Gurudev said, "Someone said in his speech that the floods are here to wash away sins of Gandhiji's death and those committed during the period of our self-rule. I feel saddened by such talk. It is a matter of shame and sorrow that we are not able to provide homes for the flood-affected helpless families of poor farmers who have been rendered homeless and are without a roof over their heads. Their condition needs to be ameliorated." After the Sandesh reporter had finished his interview, Shri Vadilal Dagli met Pujya Shri, and I give below an extract of the article that he wrote in the Commerce Monthly on the 21st of September 1968. During my tour of the flood-affected areas, I was impressed by two things. One, the fortitude of the people who braved this disaster with courage and creative equanimity, and by two, Shri Ranchoddasji Maharaj, whose breathtaking work during the Bihar famine will always be remembered by people of that region with gratitude. By nature, I am skeptical about sadhus and sannyasis, so I met him with reservations. But when I saw him working, he reminded me of Gandhiji. Here was an old, emaciated man who had dedicated his entire existence and every drop of his blood for the suffering masses of India, without any distinction of caste, creed, or class. Even his spirituality was based on the foundation of service to humanity. He told me, "Pehle pet, piche thet," first hunger, then salvation. He expressed his deep anguish that while huge wealth was laying unutilized in temples, millions of our countrymen are suffering from either floods or droughts. How can the temple priests even dare to touch this wealth which belongs to the people? What impressed me the most was his grasp of details. No wonder he has at his command thousands of dedicated followers in UP, MP, West Bengal and Saurashtra. Except for a few hours of sleep, he works ceaselessly, organizing projects to alleviate the sufferings of the people and also to make our country self-reliant in matters of food. In many ways, he resembles Vinobaji, but with one vital difference. Vinobaji too is a great saint, inspiring millions to renounce their worldly goods, but he lacks organization. Ranchoddasji's capacity for organization is infinite. We have heard about organizational man, but in this person of Shri Ranchoddasji, I met an organizational saint. After completion of relief work and after spending a few days at Devas, he came straight to the next I camp. Truly, he that conquers hearts of men is better than one who conquers cities. Jai Bhagwan. Chapter 93. Grace on Arvind Bhai. On the evening of 5th August, just before the floods of Gujarat, Pujya Shri told me, "Do not disturb my solitude for 4 days. Put my tiffin outside the room on time, but do not enter the room, else the vibrations will get disturbed, and the work that I wish to do will be incomplete or totally unsuccessful." He never told us in so many words as to what he actually did during those days of solitude. However, after the flood waters had receded in Gujarat, Arvind Bhai told us that during the floods, through the mills adjacent to the mills of the Mafatlal group of industries, were badly damaged by the destructive effects of the floods. The new Sharok mills and the Navsari cotton mills were not affected. The machinery of these mills remained untouched by the swirling flood waters, which were just in the adjacent compounds. The mills of Mafatlal group were saved by the grace and blessings of Gurudev, Shri Ranchoddasji Maharaj. We recall that Gurudev had told us in his blessings to Arvind Bhai in the Bihar camp, "Whatever you donate to this relief work will soon be made good to you." These blessings of a true saint, straight from the heart, had stood like a dam against the flood for the benefit of a devout and dedicated disciple like Shri Arvind Bhai, who had donated lakhs and also given his unstinted support and services to the people of Bihar in their hour of need. Truly it is said, "Where calamity abounded, grace did much more abound." Jai Bhagwan. Chapter 94. Pichor I Camp. The camp began with the first operation on 1st October 1968 and concluded with 3,226 operations on the 21st of October 1968. Dr. Ravi Shankar Dikshit of Pichor Degree College had come for Gurudev's darshan. I give below extracts of an article written by him in the Daily Nirman. On hearing the fame of Shri Maharaj, out of natural curiosity, I went for his darshan on the evening of the 2nd of October. As a seeker after knowledge, I sat there up to 9 p.m. His humanitarian outlook is practical and inspiring. In that I camp, I saw what man can truly do for man. Maharaj accepts only one principle, that of humanism. He is busy inspiring dedication to the ideal of service to humanity and works for the welfare of people and also to eradicate disparity among human beings. In Pichor, Gurudev's health deteriorated from day to day. Having accepted illness of others and cured them by Yog Shakti, now his frail body was emaciated. In Ansuyaji, he did Yog Sadhana, but after coming in contact with people, his Mahayog of curing people had begun. On seeing his unbearably painful and incessant cough and laboured breathing, Devkaran Bhai spoke with tear-filled eyes. "Bapu, I want your permission to take you to Bombay for check-up by a good doctor." Despite such severe illness, he said in a serene voice, "This body is yours, do as you please." Thus he agreed to come to Bombay. In Bombay, a panel of 7 doctors examined him carefully. On Dev Diwali day, Dr. Nathwani got him admitted to Bhatia Hospital. Pujya Shri told the doctors over there, "We ought to have a hospital like the Christian Missionary Hospital at Vellore." Though a sadhu could not envy anybody, I envy that hospital. Doctors must have a pure character, and in order to be called a real doctor, he should come to the hospital with the sole intention of being of service to humanity. The X-ray showed that the left lung was damaged and the heart was enlarged. Yet Gurudev did not care to know all these details. Coincidentally, Ved Bhai, his father, was to be operated upon on the same day, and his leg was amputated. When Pujya Shri came to know about it, he told Ved Bhai, "Come, let us go and have a look at your father." On going there, he placed a loving hand on the head of Ved Bhai's father and asked him, "How are you?" He got up and said with folded hands, "Please give me your blessings." Pujya Shri said, "You better rest," and went forward towards the lobby where several poor and middle-class patients offered their pranam. He smiled at everyone with folded hands, and stopping near a dejected patient, he asked, "How are you, brother?" Seeing such compassion, the overwhelmed patient wept tears of gratitude. After Pujya Shri's visit, Ved Bhai's father felt immense relief from pain, and despite his diabetes and gravity of his illness, he recovered sufficiently to get discharged from the hospital in just 15 days' time. The doctor said with surprise, "The Almighty has saved him." Pujya Shri was in Bombay for 40 days, and at a time just 2 to 3 visitors were permitted to be in his room. The other devotees would sit in the lobby and chant Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Gurudev conversed with everyone for a few minutes, and when his health permitted, he would join in the dhun and even give short pravachans. During these days, Swami Chinmayanandji came to the hospital to inquire after Gurudev's health. Both of them sat in silence, just smiling at each other, and after a while, asking permission to leave, Chinmayanandji said, "Swamiji, may God restore you back to good health." On account of his extreme love and concern about Gurudev's health, despite his age and illness, Yogi Ji Maharaj of Swaminarayan Sampradaya came to inquire about his health. During the course of their conversation, Gurudev said, "Your Gurudev had said that the Adivasis, the backward and the poor, must be uplifted from their present state," and added, he further wished that social reforms should be popularized among them, and he considered this work as his life's mission. "You have both wealth and volunteers. Why not press them into service for this deserving cause?" By prayers of saints, tears of devotees, and efforts of doctors, his health improved considerably, and he was permitted to leave Bombay. While leaving, Gurudev told the devotees, "I will return by the end of December. Meanwhile, you may adopt a few more good habits. Always remember that purity in action is attained by treating others as we would like to be treated by them. Without at least that much purity to begin with, we cannot even dream of realizing God." Along with Suresh and Ghanshyam Bhai, he left for Vellore by plane on 5th December. He spent a few days over there in solitude. For Gurudev's use over there, Vallabh Bhai had sent a new ambassador car from Calcutta. He travelled by that car up to Hubli only. Then he sent back the car, and along with Suresh and Ghanshyam Bhai, he continued his journey by train. Thus, with just a cloth bag in his hands, he met Prahlad Bhai in Ganeshpur, and then proceeded further to meet Nandlal Bhai at Dongra. At Dongra, he told Prahlad Bhai, "Whenever we meet, behind every meeting, along with the joy of meeting, there always lurks the sadness of separation. It is truth alone which can give us the everlasting joy of companionship. He continued, the famine of Manbhumi in Bengal brought about this revolutionary change in me. Once upon a time, in village Kandra in Manbhumi, there was a public fair where widows were being sold off like cattle. The buyer may be a Hindu or a Muslim. Even today, you can find it on record over there that I was instrumental in stopping this evil custom. People started an agitation against this custom and drafted a prohibitory law which was passed by Lord Hunter, the Viceroy. Because I took lead in abrogation of this evil, the Nawab of Manbhumi had me beaten up to the level of unconsciousness, and believing me to be dead, the Muslims just left me and went away. In Bengal, the people used to call me Banadasji, Bengali Baba, Mahaprabhuji, etc. After that incident, and due to other circumstances, I left Bengal. From Dongra, he came to Vidisha via Bombay. Jai Bhagwan. Sarve Sukhina Santu, Sarve Santu Niramaya, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschit Dukham Apnuyat.